move on because we have to get to happier times. And guess what, Ricky Flex? We're getting Shrek 5. And I think that calls for happy times. I think. So we have a poster already for the film. It's not like it's too tough to make. It's an animated film. They probably had it probably right after they made Shrek 4. They just went into the back lot of DreamWorks and said, "Oh, we have this. Put it on social media," And this is gonna hit theaters July 1st, 2026. So we're getting Shrek 5 in the same year that we get Toy Story 5 in the year of 2026. Other animated movies releasing that year, Ricky Flex, we have Frozen 3. We also have Super Mario Brothers 2. We have Aang the Last Airbender. We have the sequel to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. We have a Cat in the Hat animated film. I think that's with Bill Hader. I might have to double check that. And then we have a Paw Patrol 3. Holy shit, Ricky Flex. From that list right there, we're probably making at least $4 billion from animated movies in 2026. That is absolutely insane. Think about it. Shrek 5, right? Probably at most, right? At most, it's probably hitting like $700 million. Could be more. Toy Story 5 seems like ever since Toy Story 3, right? I think made a bill. Toy Story 4 made a bill. Inside Out 2 just became the highest grossing Pixar film of all time. It's almost guaranteed Toy Story 5 is making a bill. Frozen, billion-dollar franchise. Super Mario Brothers, billion-dollar franchise. Avatar is massive, right? From the animated series on Netflix, it's massively streamed. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem is another 200 mil. Cat in the Hat, who knows what that's going to do? Paw Patrol's massive. This is insane, Ricky Flex, the box office potential, right? Just from animation. Before we go into like Shrek 5 and what we want to see, which movie do you think makes the most in 2026?
This is an incredibly tough question.
Yeah.
One of the best questions that has been asked on this podcast in a while. And you are right. It's an animated gauntlet in 2026. And by the way, the Batman 2 comes out in the summer of 2026. Just saying. So,
I would say multiple of these movies make more than the Batman 2.
Oh, I think 4 of them make more. Like, yes, pretty easily too, by hundreds of millions. All right. So first off, to answer your question, which one makes the most? Bear with me. Paw Patrol 3, The Cat in the Hat, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The Last Airbender all don't stand a chance. Like, compare to the other 4, which are Shrek 5, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and Super Mario Bros. 2. Can we agree with that?
Mount Rushmore. Just Mount Rushmore of animated movies. I can't believe all 4 are coming out in the same year. It's going to be so amazing, not only to watch the box office, but then it's going to be like, okay, Oscar time. All these movies are usually like, oh, yeah, one of these is going to be nominated. It's just be amazing. Like, what else is going to swoop in? I interrupted you. I'm just excited.
No, and again, I don't think I like Mutant Mayhem. I love the first one. I'm all in on that movie critically and also box office wise, but it ain't the other ones. It ain't Shrek. It ain't Toy Story. It ain't Frozen. It ain't Super Mario Bros. As IP.
Robbed of an Oscar nomination.
Robbed. Loved how you said that. So now it's like, all right, let's take a look at what the previous iterations of each of these made. So Shrek Forever After, all right, made $750 million. Toy Story 4, 2019 film, $1.1 billion. All right, Frozen 2, $1.45 billion, and Super Mario Bros. Last year, that made $1.36 billion. So Shrek is definitely the clear laggard there, I would say. But it's also Shrek Forever After was made in 2010. What just happened this past month or month and a half, whatever? Inside Out 2. Almost been 10 years since the last one. Disney Plus, people kept watching it, and boom, made $1 billion. Made more than Inside Out. Right? Because people were waiting for that. They were like, sequel. Shrek, I know there's been 4, but maybe people were like, oh man, it's been so long since a Shrek. And they built, and they like this anticipation builds. There's going to be a donkey movie. Maybe this hits a bill. I think it's the laggard as once again, but I'm just saying it. But the other thing to look at, the other scenario or box office driver to look at, release date. Release date is massive. So Shrek 5 is officially coming out July 1st,
What a
2026.
date. What a
July
date.
1st. Okay. Problem. It's a great date, but there's a problem. 2 weeks before Toy Story 5. Head start.
Oh man, we're going head to head at the box office. Can you imagine if they came out on the same day? That would be our animated Barbenheimer. Oh my god, what? Well, some of these got to be releasing on the same weekend. These are all spaced out.
They're
All
all
of these.
spaced out except those two. So those two, again, that's a tough runway for both of them. And Toy Story 5, I feel like people were like, why we don't need it? Like with out of all of these, that's the one where it's like we don't need another one the most. So I take Toy Story 3 or 5 out.
But Toy Story 4 made over $1 billion.
Yes. But I'm saying out of these four, Shrek 5 will finish fourth. Toy Story 5 will finish third. So now it's a battle between Frozen 3 and Super Mario Bros. 2. And this is a battle, right? And Frozen 2, God, when did that come out? Like 2018? When did that come out?
Frozen
2019.
2?
2019. And what I'm going to say is that has a November 25th release, Thanksgiving, versus April 3rd, Super Mario Bros. Same as the first one. I'm going to go with Frozen 3
right
with the anticipation being 7 years after. People are still having Frozen birthday parties. I have a coworker where he's had 3 Frozen birthday parties since post-COVID. So like 3 out of like the past 4 years. I think the anticipation is going to be so big. Thanksgiving weekend, well after all these other releases. I'm going long story short, or long story long, Frozen 3 will make the most money out of this list.
Yeah, so even if you didn't bring up the release date, I was just gonna say Frozen's gonna make the most money. Like, who are we kidding here, right? It doesn't matter. Like, Toy Story we know is gonna make $1 billion, probably gonna be just over $1 billion. You know, Frozen 3, I'm like, this could make, I don't know, 1.5, closing in on 2 billion. Like, Frozen 2 like wasn't even a success in terms of like critics, and it doesn't matter, right? People are going to absolutely be there on opening day, time and time again. Love is an open door. Let it go. They're probably Frozen is coming back with a vengeance. They're coming back with a vengeance. Those creators, they probably want to make something special, reminiscent of the first Frozen. I did want to talk about something else, Ricky Flicks. Shrek 5, Toy Story 5. This is like the battle that for our childhood. Like, we grew up with both of these movies, right? When the first Shrek drops, I'm 5 years old, you're 3 years old. When Toy Story 2 came out, it's 1999. I'm 4 years old, you're 2 years old. We grow up with Toy Story 2 and then Toy Story 3, 4, and then now we're getting 5. Shrek, same thing. I have a comparison based on the public reaction to both Toy Story and Shrek. And I don't know if you're going to like it, Ricky Flex, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Colin Coward hat on. Let's do it. Shrek, early 2000s. Shrek 1, Shrek 2, both bangers, correct?
Correct.
Shrek 3, Shrek 4, underperformed in terms of audience expectations. Like Shrek 3, I'll stand. It's just funny as shit, and I'll watch it all the time. All right? We can admit those movies weren't good. But all of a sudden, Shrek 5 is announced. And then everyone is very, very hyped, right? If I'm looking at the roller coaster of Shrek and the comeback and the welcoming of a comeback, and even people saying, hey, let's jump back on Donkey's saddle and let's ride Eddie Murphy for a spin-off movie, to compare an actor to the Shrek franchise, Keanu Reeves comes out, guns blazing, right? Early on in his career, Point Break, Speed, right? Whatever the movie may be. 90s, Keanu Reeves, Matrix, and then middle of the career, dips down. When does he come back up? John Wick. We welcome the beloved Keanu Reeves like we welcome the beloved Shrek. Now, Toy Story. Toy Story comes out, changes the game. That's not really what I'm looking for here. The consistency of Toy Story. 1, 2, 3, all goated. 4, people are kind of getting sick of the franchise, saying we didn't have to make a 4th movie, but guess what? It's still good. 5th one gets announced. You know it's going to be good. You know it's going to make $1 billion, just like the 4th one, just like the 3rd one, but people are tired of you and they don't want to see you anymore. Toy Story is Chris Pratt. Keanu Reeves is Shrek. Chris Pratt is Toy Story, and that's how it is. That's how I see it.
I like your rationale. I think it's spot on. The Keanu one works with Shrek if Shrek 5 is great. Because Keanu, John Wick, is great. So if Shrek 5 is great, then that's a perfect comp. The Chris Pratt, totally get the rationale. It's just that we're talking about arguably the greatest, like this is the greatest animated franchise ever, and probably the greatest animated movie. One of them, if you just pick one.
I knew you weren't gonna like it.
The Chris Pratt one, I get it. I don't like it. The Keanu one, I get it. I like it, but only if Shrek 5 hits. Because that means, yeah, you had the hot start, and you also kept it going, and then it slowly but surely went downhill. Chris Pratt's like, I get it. Like, oh, hot. Now I'm even not liking it more because like
So
Parks and Rec.
I'm not talking about Chris Pratt's whole career. I'm talking about when he makes the turn, he gets cast as Star-Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy. Everyone loves him. It's like, holy crap, like this guy is funny. He looks different, but he makes that movie and then he becomes the face of action movies, right? Or blockbusters, franchises for the next up until now, honestly. And every time he gets cast now in something, people say, oh, Chris Pratt again. Just like, oh, we're making Toy Story 4. Oh, we're making Toy Story 5. But guess what? Oh, he's playing Mario. Oh, guess what? He made $1 billion. Oh, we're getting Jurassic World. Oh, it made $1 billion. Oh, we're doing Jurassic World 2. Oh, it made another $1 billion. He is box office. And people just shake their head and act like he's not good.
Yeah, Garfield.
He has something to do with it. He has something to do with it.
Yeah, that's a good explanation of it. I like that. And I actually want to throw another name out there for Shrek.
Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg.
I knew you were going to go fancy pants on me.
Well, think about it. Social Network, banger. Absolute banger. Shrek, banger. And also, like, he's relevant. He's relevant in the early 2010s. But then, like, hey, like, he gets too much and Now You See Me. He's getting a little too wonky. And like Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse, Lex Luthor. Yeah, it's starting to go downhill. But you could still acknowledge he's a good actor and he's still doing work. And like that's what you do with Shrek. You still acknowledge like, hey, it's still funny. Shrek's 3 and 4, and might not be good, but this is a great franchise. That's Jesse Eisenberg a little bit there.
You're stepping on my analogy. Stepping all over it, stomping on it so freaking hard right now, but that's okay. I thought you were gonna like give me something else for Chris Pratt because that was the tough one. I was like really thinking. I spent a good like 10 minutes thinking about
whole 10 minutes.
Who is like the action star comp to the Toy Story franchise. But I just want to throw it out there. Personally, I'm more excited for Shrek because it's amazing because Shrek has so many characters I love and I want to return to. Like Mike Myers, like the best thing he ever did. Like obviously, like Wayne's World's up there, but like Shrek is kind of his legacy alongside Austin Powers, And it's good. We just like to have Mike Myers back and doing the Scottish accent. Eddie Murphy just did Axel F. Check out the last podcast. You want to listen to the review. Him as Donkey, and he's getting a spinoff that has me jacked up. Oversaturation, you might call it. I say a resurgence of nostalgia and back to my childhood roots. And then Javier Bardem as Puss in Boots, who was a absolute revelation in Shrek 2. What did I say? What you gave me?
Javier Bardem.
No, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, I thought you said Javier Bardem.
I did probably. Now I'm adjusting it. Javier Bardem in the brain. We talked about the F1 reactions the other day. But I think I'm more excited for that just because I haven't had it in a while, and I do sense like we don't want Toy Story, even though we know it's going to be good. We don't necessarily want it as bad. So that's my thoughts. Just answer the question. What do you think?
I don't know why I think Shrek 5 might be good.
It's just we haven't got it, and
that's what I'm saying.
Time to mull on it, It's just the value of patiently waiting and then delivering. That's going to be satisfactory,
right? And like Super Mario Bros, like
Shrek 4 sucked.
Yeah, Shrek 4 Forever After, not good.
Rumpelstiltskin.
And Frozen, I don't know. I'm just not a Frozen guy. I liked Frozen, really didn't like Frozen 2, and we always talk. Our thoughts about Toy Story 4. Again, I'm not an Airbender guy or a Paw Patrol guy. And Cat in the Hat, Mike Myers is still ingrained in my head, not in a good way. So I low-key want to say Shrek, and then I would say Ninja Turtles. I feel like Ninja Turtles, like Seth Rogen in the mix, like I feel like we can continue to like innovate there and be creative. There's a big bad coming that we know. That's like a big hype for that. I've never been a Ninja Turtles guy, but the first one got me. I kind of looking forward to that second after Shrek.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles was like art. That was just like also unique animation. You know, Shrek and Toy Story. We've grown up with seeing these characters and seeing this animation. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles felt fresh, felt like a cousin of like the Spider Verse films. You know, and it also hit the '90s nostalgia perfectly too. Great needle drops, great slow mo, and actually great comedy. Good voice performances too. Robbed of an Oscar nomination, Ricky Flex.